what about for people now that are trying to make that decision? What would you say that they'd need to know, or where their head would need to be at, or their aspirations need to be in order to really for it to be worthwhile for them to take the master's route? Or are you just like everybody should?
So I don't think that everybody should. I honestly, I don't know that I should have. I did.
Come
By the time I
on.
graduated from, by the time I graduated from undergrad, I had over 220 credits. I did like an average of 18 or 19 credits a semester for 5 years. Um, so when I went to my master's, I was feeling a little burnt out. And I didn't quite realize just that that's how I was feeling. So like, I'm glad that I did, but at the same time, uh, I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't get into my master's program and was gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna go learn welding for a little bit. That sounds like a good idea. Like I'll learn how to weld, and just kind of do that for a little bit, so I don't like let my brain kind of, you know, deflate a little bit and kind of let the kind of chill out for a little bit. Didn't happen. Right now, I would say that we're kind of heading in the same place where the economy is kind of doing some weird stuff,
Yeah.
and I say that one, if you're going to go for your master's, it make sure that you are doing something that you like
Yeah.
and that you specialize. So like getting a general electrical engineering master's or general mechanical engineering where you take a bunch of different mechanical engineering classes, I don't think it's going to give you a whole bunch of benefit. Like going that general route for your master's. For undergrad, absolutely, but for masters, focusing on something specific that you're interested in and just kind of digging in, I think it'd be very helpful. Especially because if you find something that you like, odds are you'll find a professor that's doing research related to that. And if
Mhm.
they're doing research related for that, they will pay for you to go to get your master's. So
Yeah.
like I took out some loans, very
Yeah.
little loans for my master's. Um, Basically just to kind of pay for my living, pay off my car, pay for my rent. But the classes were paid for. The university was paid for, and I even
Nice.
had like a small stipend. So like, yeah, no, I came out really nice. So if you are going for your master's, I highly recommend finding something that you like, and find a professor that's doing research in that field, and they're doing research in that field. They have funding, and they have to pay somebody to do the stuff that they don't have the time to do or they don't really want to do.
Yeah.
Like
That that
the menial labor stuff.
That's great guidelines. I think that that lines up exactly with the kind of the general principles that I kind of think of whenever I talk to people that are considering going that route. And I think that the funding is the expectation and the norm, not the exception, right? It's generally the
Absolutely.
expectation. Yeah. So if you're in that situation, listening to this podcast, I mean, really funding is important, and especially the other thing to consider is that that's 2 more years that you're not earning your full-time engineering salary and getting promotions and getting merit increases. You got to factor that in. So you definitely, even though he said you make 20% more, you definitely don't want to pile up the
It's
debt while you're
delayed.
doing that.
Oh,
Exactly. And it's
oh,
delayed.
absolutely.
Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.